Welcome to A Matter of Mindset. I'm your gracious hostess, Joey Jones. I got a special guest with me, my first ever return guest, Cockney Black. What are you saying?
I'm good, Joey. How are you, mate?
I'm good. You know what's fun? You know the first time I dragged you here against your will. This time, I'm requested to come here. So it's funny how times have changed.
It is.
Yeah, how's your week been?
It's been good. Obviously, I'm a tradesman. I work on site. This week, we're supposed to split up next week, which is the 18th, for the Christmas break. But because of they're worried about a spread of COVID, they closed our site early. So we were expecting to break up next Friday. Our last day at work ended up being Thursday. So I've just been chilling. You know what I mean, taking it easy, bro.
Sick.
Yourself? How's your week been?
You know what? It's been kind of hectic still. I find myself that I'm always got something to do, whether it's work or I've been doing a lot of research recently because of today's topic.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I've done none.
You've done none?
No research at all, no.
You're well versed though, so that don't.
We'll see. But I will see. We'll see.
Calm. Obviously, this week's topic we're going to talk about self-awareness because I feel like it's a very important topic for anyone that's trying to grow as an individual. Like, it's very important that all people, especially those that are trying to grow as individuals, So, yeah, Cockney Black, why is self-awareness important to you?
For me, self-awareness is your a part of your gauge of how you interact with people. I'd say that's what it first is. And I feel like once you're home, I don't know about you, but my day plays back to me of an evening or after maybe there's been an incident, it'll play back to me. So in my mind, I'm considering what I said, how I said it. Did I miss something out? Did I say something I shouldn't have said? So I question my behaviour, my attitude with regards to who I was speaking to for that day or that moment. Do you know what I mean? So for me, the self-criticism that comes along with self-awareness is it's important when it comes to you learning how to talk to the next person and then the person after that. Yeah. And also learning about yourself, which is important for you dealing with why you have certain trigger points, even what makes you laugh, what makes you sad. Someone could say something to you. I don't want to go off on a tangent too much, but someone could say something to me and it turns into an argument. And then once that person's gone their way and I've gone mine and I'm sitting down thinking about it, I'm like, it's not a matter of right and wrong in it at this point. That's something I can consider in my mind also. But why did I get upset at that phrase? Why did I get upset at what this person said? And I have to question myself and be like, was it true that they said? And if the truth bothers me, then I've got a problem.
Yeah.
To get it. Was it a lie? If it was a lie, it still shouldn't bother me because I know myself. But these are things that you have to learn. I don't want to say unfortunately because of arguments, but sometimes you need those kind of testing conversations for you to be able to learn and then say, you know what, here's how I can improve.
Yeah.
But that can come from an easy conversation, but more of those conversations that really push you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I understand. Like a lot of coming to terms with who you are can be a very difficult process. And I feel like a lot of people don't like to acknowledge that they're hurting. That could also play into why people lack self-awareness. And it could take for a comment that is minuscule in the moment to trigger
something else that they've not dealt with. Is that what you mean? Yeah. That I'd say I was a victim of that when I was younger. I had to sit down and ask myself, why is it? And I don't want to make this a race thing, but it's my personal experience. And I'm not playing a race card, I'm not. But why is it when I was younger, if an authoritative black person asked me to do something, a guy, I just wouldn't respect it. I didn't take it seriously. But if a white person in the same position was to say something to me, I'd be like, I have to correct myself to get.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's because of, for me, there are loads of different layers. But for me, from my own personal experience, I'd say the layer that's close to home was being a child that didn't have a father figure when I was growing up.
Yeah.
So whenever someone that, I know this is in my subconscious, I could be wrong, but this is how I've analysed, and my subsequent conclusion of myself is that if someone that looks like that said something to me, why would I not take it seriously? Why would that advice just be nothing to me? Do you get it?
Yeah, no,
and I feel...
Go on. No, go on.
And I feel like because that wasn't in my life when I was young growing up, I didn't have a concept of respecting it.
Yeah.
As I got older.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Although I realised early on, I used to think to myself, why is this person talking to me? Why am I brushing it off? Why is it not important to me? To get it? And it's really when I started to analyse myself, I thought, okay, this could be the cause of my reaction to this type of person whenever they speak to me. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And then with that, then that's the awareness.
Yeah.
And then a subsequent self-criticism. And then literally it's like you have to self-train. And you got to kind of lecture yourself on, I need to show this person respect. I need to not be so dismissive. I need to correct this. I need to behave like that. And I feel like enough of that self-coaching done with enough consistency will change your interaction with these people, with that person. Do you get it?
Yeah.
And then that improves your overall. And then once you feel like that's become now, not even say habit, it's now part of your nature, strip back another layer. Why am I thinking like this? Why does that make me happy? Why does that make me sad? Why does this my trigger point? Why?
Yeah.
And then you strip back these layers. Do you get it?
Yeah.
And then I feel like that kind of self-awareness is an ongoing journey. It also is it's a way to you improving your character and whoever you interact with.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So awareness for me, like I said, there were so many different layers. I don't feel like there's a beginning and an end. I feel like it's whatever the individual is going through, they need to question themselves on why. Why am I? And then go through that list. Like I said, that's my list, but that list could be however long.
Yeah, I'm going to touch on about saying that how the individuals have to question themselves. If someone doesn't question themselves, the moment they get questioned by someone else, they're naturally going to be defensive. But if you actually question yourself, when someone actually questions you, you won't be as defensive because there will be like a level of self-awareness there. Like, I evaluate my thought process and my decisions every day. So I'm not going to, and I feel like people need to kind of let go of the defensiveness when people question them, because people actually there are actually people out there that genuinely want to help you. And for people to actually give you the help that you need, they're going to have to ask questions, some of them being uncomfortable. So, yeah.
On that, was you going to say something else?
Go on. Huh?
What I've learned as well is those, let's say you've got a yardstick. At one end of the stick is, and I don't profess to be anywhere near this end I'm about to say to you, but I feel like this is a direction that you go in. There are two different directions. One direction is what we've just said about you having that self-awareness. You're in a state of a happy state, a comfortable place, criticizing self. And I have to add this in. It's not criticizing to a point of depression or making yourself feel worthless. It's not that sort of criticism. It's criticism for you to adjust and improve.
Yeah.
It's that criticism. Once you find yourself in that headspace, when you come across people like that, you're going to understand each other. I feel like you're going to understand each other better.
Yeah.
because you're kind of, I know people talk about vibrations and energy, but I definitely feel like that's got something to do with it as well.
Yeah.
And also, I feel like when you're in this space over here, you understand that criticism isn't an attack.
Yeah.
But if you are attacked, there could be criticism within that attack. But depending on how, what's that phrase you use, off-center you are or comfortable you are within that zone of self-criticism is going to be how you deal with the energy that's been said to you when they're attacking you and the energy that's been said to you when they're criticizing you.
Yeah.
So let me try and give you two examples. Me and you, for example. I feel like I could say to you, oh, Joey, I don't think you're really good at that. Or I think you do better if, don't get me wrong, the way I word things is not always graceful. But I feel like you as an individual, I could say, mate, Joey, try this, or try that, or try the blah, blah, blah. And you'd be like, oh yeah, I could do. Or you'd be like, no, that's not for me. It wouldn't touch, maybe the things I'm talking about wouldn't touch your ego to get it. Yeah. And you wouldn't become defensive because you just be like, oh yeah, or yes, or no. Now, if I was to say, not the same things, but if there was someone else at this end of the stick, whatever you want to call it, but at this end of the stick, I go, why don't you try that? They'd be like, don't tell me. I don't need advice from you. So there's this kind of like instant, their backs up.
Yeah.
This person to me can't differentiate between criticism and being attacked. For them, it's one of the same. They're not the same thing. And the only way I can give you another example to try and understand that is if you come from a loving home and your parents are shouting at you when you're young, for example, do this, don't do that, do this, don't do that. When you're young, you interpret that as moaning. Oh, they're just on my case. Oh, leave me alone, blah, blah, blah. You get it? You don't see it as a criticism or an attack. You just see them moaning, they're moaning. Do you understand? A lot of people, as they get older, they become to value their parents more because then they get older, they understand that when your parents were shouting at you, it's coming from a loving place.
Yeah, 100%. I hear that.
Save your money. Stop going out spending your money every weekend. Do blah, blah. And you think to yourself, with your arrogant side is the arrogant youth. It's my money, I do what I want. You might not say it to them, but like, it's my money, I do what I want. You get it? Then when a rainy day comes, you realise the wisdom in what your parents were telling you. Understand?
Yeah.
And it's that appreciation that comes with either. It comes with wisdom and maturity. And the earlier we get to that point, the better.
Yeah.
So to come back to what I was saying, to try and bring it full circle to explain these two different individuals and give you some examples of why self-awareness is very important, how you can grow. So this individual, going back to what I said, you might say something and you're saying it from a pure good place. You're saying it from a place of, you know what, I care about this person. It's not even that process, but the reason why he's saying it is because you care about them. Yeah. You get it? You want them to be better. So you're like, look, try this, try that. But this individual, they see that, as I said before, and I'm repeating myself and trying to explain something to you, they see that as an attack. Do you understand?
Yeah.
The problem is getting through to these people. Do you understand?
Yeah.
This end of that stick, for me, is regressive. And I don't know what's going to pull them out of that defensive mindset. To get it? Yeah. You don't know what's going to move them. It could be something happens, they watch something, they listen to him, because ultimately everybody has hindsight and a conscience. So afterwards, this person's either going to go home and be like, yeah, that made sense, but fuck it, I don't care. Or they're going to be like, that made sense, and they're going to act upon it. To get it?
Yeah.
But ultimately, the energy with which you said that with, should always come from a loving, caring place, regardless of how they interpret it.
Yeah.
Let's go to this person at this end. It's what I've learned. Now, if someone screams something at you in a bad way, effing and blinding, let's do the easy thing first, because the easy part, I feel like we're all going to understand. Someone could say to you, as I said, this person here, you spoke to them in a nice way, but they still ignored it because they have this defensive kind of attitude. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Same thing said to this person at this end, or let's say this individual is at this end of the scale now, the stick now. They're going to get it. Like I said, like you might be like, think about it, accept it or reject it, but there's nothing bothering you about what's got said.
Yeah.
Understand? If I say the same thing to you with bad energy, shouting, screaming, rah, 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 you've F this, using all sorts of profanity, name calling, but there's truth within what I'm saying. What I've said is the right thing, the wrong way. To get it?
Yeah.
So now, although I'm talking to you in a bad way, there's still truth in what I'm saying. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Now, receiving that, being on the receiving end of someone talking to you with that energy, but still talking truth, you have to be very composed. And you have to understand that not everyone's got your demeanor. Not everyone's got your composure, not everyone's got your decorum, etc. To get it. So there has to be a time, similarly with your family, with the ones closest to you, like I was saying to your parents, they're screaming at you, rah, 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 rah. That could be the way. I'm not saying everyone's parents do, but we've all had, I'm sure a lot of us have had a time where our parents are shouting something at us.
Yeah.
And that's what affects us, not the content of what they're saying.
Yeah.
Or maybe when you walk around, calm down. So similarly, in this situation, the individual, so I'm trying to offer whoever's listening, watching as well, a solution as well. So the solution is you need to maintain your composure and understand that you receiving what's being said can be separated, as in what's being said to you can be separated, as in the energy, what's being said, and the content of what's being said.
Yeah.
So the content, you have to put yourself as more important than the energy with what is being said with.
Yeah.
Because if the energy is something that's always going to throw you off, you're never going to listen to what anyone's got to say to you. Do you get it?
Yeah. I think that's very important. And I feel like a lot of, when you're giving someone advice or anything, I think it kind of needs to be reaffirmed that it's coming from a loving place. Because when people are receiving advice, or it's not always, the person that's receiving it are not always sure of the intent and the energy that comes behind it, which is another reason why people get defensive when people offer them advice in it.
Exactly.
So as I've grown older, like I've kind of understood that how I have thick skin more times, and I know everyone's not like me. So when I do give people advice, or I give people like criticism, it comes from a loving place, innit? Or more times it should come from a loving place. Not saying that they're going to receive it, but they're more likely to receive it if it comes that way. And I think when you're improving your self-awareness, when you see someone that is devoid of self-awareness, you have empathy because you were once there.
You should have empathy.
Yeah, you should have empathy because you were once there. And it's just, if you want people to grow, you have to assist them. And the way in which you assist people is there has to be a level of humility. Like, I understand where you've been. I've been there. As a friend or whatever, I just want to see you do better and assist you. This is my advice. They may not take it,
but you're giving it.
Yeah, and they'll hear it, because there have been conversations that I've had with my friends just on like a random throwaway, like, oh, I think you should do this. I think you'll be sick at this. Then they're coming to me like months later saying, I remember you telling me you should have done it. And I'm like, bro, you know what? I didn't even remember I said that, but
yeah,
I'm happy it had a good...
Struck a chord with him somewhere, yeah.
I'm happy it had a good influence on you.
Yeah.
And when you have self-awareness, you're very secure, or more secure in who you are. And when you're more secure in who you are, that's how you can assist other people. Because if there's two insecure people, it's hard, unless they're sort of vibrating in the same sort of insecurity, you can't really assist them.
Not to be too like obtuse, I wouldn't know, because I feel like, I shouldn't say I wouldn't know, that's wrong. I feel like everyone has something that makes them feel insecure.
Yeah.
I think
that's why I said more. I didn't want to say completely, because no one is completely secure.
Yeah, exactly. But the idea is to use your self-awareness to really go and attack within yourself what's making you feel insecure. Go and be comfortable with criticizing, analyzing. Why do I feel like that in that situation? Why does that make me sweat? And pressure yourself until you're in a position where, as I said to you, if someone negative comes along, you can stay positive.
Yeah.
And this is also something I want to try and tie into self-awareness. Is what I've learned is and we can't not talk about energy. I feel like we can't not talk about energy right now. Is the conversion of energy, which is what I've learned as well. So let me try to give you an example. So I'm talking to someone, they're screaming and shouting. Now I can match that for a second to get their attention and then change the tone. Do you understand?
Yeah.
To try and get them to calm down, to get it.
Yeah.
And if someone's screaming and shouting, you don't have to. You can just be patient. Let them say what they got to say. And then if they want to listen, because there are some people out here that will scream and shout, say what they have to say. And then the moment you start talking, they'll start screaming and shouting again.
Yeah.
To get it. And there has to come a point, I know this is a little side note, there has to come a point where you have to decide, okay, this person's not hearing what I'm saying. Is it detrimental to the future of our friendship or just this conversation? Can I let it go? Do I have to be heard? Is it important? Etc. Do you understand?
No, I do understand.
Because I don't feel like you can have well-established friendships with people that want to be heard but don't want to listen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel that's a massive problem. I feel like it's very one-sided. And I feel like such individuals only have friends for what benefits them. And that's not right. Do you get it?
Yeah.
So when I was what I was going to say about energy was, let's say someone's being spiteful, anything negative. Like someone could be calm, but be speaking to you in a bad manner. Do you get it?
Mm-hmm.
Or be being sarcastic or rude, but they're not animated or loud or angry with that bad attitude towards you. To get it, you still have to maintain your composure. Do you understand? Composing yourself, being able to pick up that energy and then convert it so it doesn't bother you, or speak in a certain way that answers the individual without you feeling pressured, without you crumbling, without you stuttering and making any mistakes. Do you understand?
Yeah.
That conversion of the energy is what I feel like. That's the point where I'm at now. I don't know what's after that, but that's what I'm learning. So, I'm not perfect at it. Like, I was having a chat with someone I know one of my mates the other day. It just got, for a moment, it got out of hand. But that's because I lost my composure.
Yeah.
Do you get it?
I had a similar situation with one of my friends still this week, actually, where we were having a conversation in a group chat, and I just lost composure for like a momentary second. And all it takes is that moment, like, and I had to say to myself, wait, hold on. I didn't even have to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
So I hit him up. I'm like, yo, I didn't have to do that.
Yeah,
My bad, innit? Yeah. If I want to talk about self-awareness, I have to practice what I preach.
100%.
It's not that I'm perfect. It's just, if I fuck up or I make a mistake, I will acknowledge it.
Yeah.
And
very important. Go on, sorry.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't want to acknowledge it. And just touching on the thing that you were talking about in dynamics with people, if you're having like, just in interactions with people, like, there's always a struggle for power, and people want to attain that power by any means, whether that's by shouting, whatever.
Do you think so?
100%. And
what you mean in like human behavior? Yeah,
like human behavior. There's always like a struggle for power. They can do it through like manipulation, through like words and whatever. And I feel like the way in which true power is attained,
humility,
is, let me land. It's not even that, but it's just you don't want to compete in that battle.
Yes. Yeah, you're not interested in it.
Yeah, we're not. So I'm not gonna, like, people, like, I've seen so many conversations, like, you know, when the conversations are just heated and everyone's just talking over each other, it's because they're trying to attain the dominant role.
To be heard.
Yeah. And it's like, you don't even need to do all that to attain power. You can literally just have a flowing conversation, make sure your energy is right, make sure the person's energy with you is right, and have a natural conversation. It's not about
winning,
again,
on top.
A theme that we've been talking about in this podcast a lot is ego. And when you're debating, your ego can run amok. It can run amok. And again, not even saying it's not, no one's perfect. We're going to have those moments where our ego does take over. But you have to acknowledge that and just strive to do better.
The striving to do better again comes down to the again, self-awareness. What you just said about I just lost my train of thought. What you just said about being up power, I never realised. I never like self-criticising that. I've never intentionally tried that, but definitely when I've been in an argument, because I know I can talk loud. I'm not being arrogant. I know there's people out there who can talk louder than me, but I know I can talk from my stomach. I know how to get it. I know I can talk loud. And I feel like sometimes I've been in heated debates. I feel like I could do that, but I just don't bother. But there have been other times, once the ego gets hold of you, like you said, what's that phrase you use? Run amok.
Run amok, yeah.
Once the ego gets hold of you, it's a problem. So I feel like it's necessary sometimes, though, not for your ego, but for you to loud speech certain people. I had it once. I was at work, right, and I was working on a £3.5 million flat in Knightsbridge, and I was the main electrician there. Another guy would come and visit like once a week. So I was doing all of it, the whole first fix, the whole second fix, basically. I had a project manager. He left and a new guy came in. So if you can, to give you that part shortened, the project manager, if you don't know the answer to something, he should have the answers. And he will say, do this, don't do that. Like coordinate works between the other trades, do you understand?
Yeah.
So bear with me a moment. I need to paint you a picture so you kind of get where my ego got in and where I had to soften it and where I had to kind of like talk loud.
Yeah.
So he was inexperienced. That became apparent. But he didn't have the humility to say,
I need help.
Right. So at that time, I must have been on about 15 years experience, easy, plus 10 years experience. And I can't speak for the other guys doing that on the other trades on site, but they were experienced guys as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
He would, let me give you an example. This case, that socket's got to go in his desk. The chippy's got to build the table, right? Carpenter's got to build the table. I've got to put my cables in first. Then the carpenter puts on the table. Then I come back and put that on. Like there's a process to get things done.
Yeah.
You go to him, I'd say to him, can I put my... No, sorry. The chippy would go to him. He'd say to the chippy, yep, go ahead, build the table. I'd come back 3 or 4 days later, or whenever I got to that point, I'm like, mate, you shouldn't have done that yet because I ain't put my cables in the wall yet. Like, I've got to put my cables in first and we're not behind schedule, so there's no... Why? That's a mistake. He'd say, yep, no problem, that's fine. We'll just get it taken off, it's cool. Act all cool. Then he would write an email to my boss saying, your electrician forgot to put the cable in the wall. We've closed the wall. You're going to be charged for the chippy to take the table off and put, not the wall, sorry, this actually happened, like take this off the wall, off the table and put it back together again. You're going to be charged because your electrician forgot to put the cable in. When in actual fact, he's told the chippy to close it up without checking the drawings or without checking the schedule or whatever to get it. And he was doing this to all the trades. So the same thing, he would have got asked a question. He'd say, yeah, do that. When it went wrong, he'd be like, okay, that's cool. Then he'd email their bosses. So now we're sitting down in the canteen and we're talking amongst ourselves. He's doing the same thing done to me. He done to this guy. He done to that guy. He done to this guy. So we had to be very careful with this guy. Everything that he said, we had to check with each other before he said do it.
Yeah.
Understand? I put that down to you having no not only are you inexperienced, but you don't have the humility or the self-awareness. Or you have the self-awareness because I truly believe we have a conscience, isn't it? We have hindsight over our words and actions. Are you telling me really afterwards, you're sending these emails, you're not thinking to yourself, I shouldn't be doing that to the guys, I shouldn't be. I think he's doing that, but he's that person that says, oh, fuck it, I don't care. Because his power on the site, he feels like, because he's project manager, what he says runs, even though you're in the wrong, to get it.
Yeah.
So he tried stitching me up bare times, got to a point where my boss was on the phone ringing me. Why am I getting so many emails from this guy? And then I said to him, talk to this person's boss, that you know that supervisor, blah, blah, blah. Then they spoke, and my boss is like, okay, I get it. Oh, we've heard, blah, blah, blah. We had a meeting, it all come up, blah, blah, blah. So now they know now his antics. It all got exposed. Understand?
Yeah.
So I'm on a job, I'm on the same job one evening working, cracking on doing my work. He comes in and he goes, put that over there, do this, do that. It's like, it's just me and him. I'm working late. It's just me and him. He's never spoken to me like this as long as I've been on a job. Never, ever, ever, ever. Yeah. And now he's in my face, literally across from a kitchen work surface. You know the island you got in some kitchens? Basically, the island come out the wall like that and went up like that. He's on that side, I'm on his side. Put this over there. Do that, blah, blah, blah. Screaming his head off. Yeah. And you know what he done? I realised, yeah, he was like this. He had his phone in his hand, like this, just there, like that. Rah, rah, rah. I don't know how it slipped out or he turned or something. I see he's got in his phone. It looked very unusual for someone to have with the arms crossed like this with his phone here. I thought this guy's trying to set me up or something here. Bro, I spoke then. I had to humble myself. Mate, I took the biggest breath, yeah, I've ever taken in my life. Yeah. And I just got it all out. I got it, everything I had to say, I got out in that moment. Listen, the guy shriveled up, bruv. And I'm not saying it because I am. I'm saying it to you. I'm kind of trying to bring it full circle. I've said all that to say this. There were times, if you don't stand up for yourself, you're going to get people are going to walk all over you. Do you understand?
Yeah.
You can't be humble until someone takes advantage of you. You understand?
Yeah. Fact.
Because some people are walking around the earth trying to take advantage of people, brother.
Yeah.
That's what they do. That's how they survive. And unfortunately, the nature of human beings, a lot of them in our society, unfortunately, is if you're soft-spoken, if you keep yourself to yourself, if you come across humble, they take that for weakness, brother.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's not that. It's that I can't be bothered to get into that with you. It's just that I'm just not interested, bro.
Yeah.
Like we said about this power thing, like what you said, relinquish it. Because it has no importance to you. Who speaks the loudest, who's this, who's that. These things aren't really, they're not important.
Yeah.
Do you understand? But in this instant, I had to take a different stance because of all the wrong he said about me and the wrong he said about other people. And now it's just me and you. You want to try hotting me up for me to react a certain way. And then for you to whatever, to whoever.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So as I said, the awareness within myself, I'm going to try and talk about him, not to backstab him, but what my conclusion on him was and for myself.
Yeah.
I had to have an understanding that, listen, my heart was in my throat. I was so angered and I felt so disrespected by the way he was talking to me. I felt like my heart was beating here. Understand? I was very, very angry, bro. Very, very angry. And it's either I lose it, which is what he wants, and then he's most will be recording or whatever, and then he forwards it on to
whoever.
And then my job's gone. Or I can suck this air up, change the energy, and let it out a different way. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And that's what I had to do in that moment. And I haven't always remained composed. I'm not going to act like I can do this all the time. But there's certain times where you feel something within you, you need to control that heat. Do you understand? You need to control that and let that out the right way. Yeah. Or There's that advice from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, when you're angry, seek refuge in Allah from the shayateen. Say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajim. If you're standing, sit down. If you're sitting down, lay down. Or whatever position you're in, change your position. If you have to, get a cold glass of water. Say, Bismillah, drink a glass of water. Calming you down. If you don't have access to these things, you better be able to control your energy. Understand? Because the worst thing you can let is someone else's negativity, because a lot of these people, they operate in that negativity often. You get it?
Yeah.
So they're always touching into a negative energy, or they're touching into speaking a certain way. They're used to it. They're used to this bad energy. Understand?
Yeah.
Talking to people bad or doing something negative or blah, blah, blah. Because they're used to operating that and you're not used to that, once you two come across each other, there's going to be a collision at some point. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So the idea is what you got to do. I know I'm repeating myself, but it's just to reiterate a point and to really try and strike it home for you, is when someone's giving you that energy, this bad energy, and you feel it, it's something that moves within you. You feel it. You need to convert it.
Yeah.
Or control it. The conversion, as I said earlier on, is by you being able to maintain your composure, lower your tone, be patient. Understand? Because as long as they're not striking you, they can say what they want.
Yeah.
You get it?
Yeah.
Or the other thing is, you take the energy and you control the way you release it. You get it?
Yeah. You know what
but both need self-awareness.
Yeah. You're touching on some real themes, and it's just, there's person A who views power as external, and there's person B that understands that true power actually comes from within. And it really does, because when you see people, let's say on a job or whatever, and they're the boss that overdoes everything, they are just trying to fulfill the wants of their ego and their personality. And there's the person B who's grounded, calm, understands that power comes from within, and he's just chilled. Whereas true power is not from the title of your job. True power is not from the title of your job or how you can manipulate other people. True power is just how you can control your mind and your spirit. And that's the hardest battle you're ever gonna have. Like,
we call it, it's the greater jihad in Islam. I'll let you finish. I'll explain to myself afterwards. Yeah. Sorry, Joey.
Yeah, like, you have to be able to control your spirit, because every action starts with a thought. And you have to ask yourself, why is this person trying to get me to vibrate on this level? And it's like, okay, cool. Does he feel threatened by me? So he wants me to trick me out of my position to act in a way that will put my job in jeopardy. And it's just, he may not even be thinking that consciously, but subconsciously, that might be it.
For me, 100% on that individual, it definitely was that. It definitely was that. Because otherwise, why are you holding the phone? Well, regardless of what he's going to do afterwards, not of my concern, because it's an outcome that didn't happen. Because I kept my job, I was there right up until the end, and he ended up getting shifted on, and we had a different project manager come in afterwards, because he kept on doing that to people. So they, obviously, I don't know, the supervisor must have got together. We never found out why. It was just there one day, gone the next.
Yeah.
To get it.
And if you had acted out of character, you know what they would have been saying, innit? You know what they would have been saying.
You know what it is. We know exactly what they would have been saying.
We know what they would have been saying.
It never happened, so it's all good at the end, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what I was saying, that what you just said about, I slightly disagree with you on something that you said. You said that there's a guy on site that's always doing things to, doing the most on site.
Yeah,
it's not always ego. Sometimes they could be doing it to just be the best, to try and keep their work level to a high standard.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand that.
But there are people that, I said, they might do things, they might be still trying to do things to the best, but because they need or they want the praise or the position or whatever else.
Yeah, there's a balance that comes with that still. Yeah, you do obviously strive to become the best, and there has to be a level of balance. For example, self-awareness does knowing where you fit in a certain dynamic. So in each situation, it's either I take instruction or I'm given instruction. And you have to know what position you take in certain dynamics. So in certain things, in most things, I'm ready to listen to like at all times. I will say my piece, but I will let people talk because I don't move like I have all the answers. A wise man knows that he knows nothing, innit? So he has to, as much as he can speak, he has to be able to listen as well.
Correct, yeah.
So as much as there has to be the balance between speaking and listening. So yeah, it's just a lot of, again, when people that are devoid of self-awareness, they always think they're right. Always. And I'm not even saying that on a judgy thing. I'm saying that as that was once me. No one could have told me nothing. No one couldn't tell me anything. Like, I would talk and be like, I'm right, you're wrong. And it's like immature if you're being completely honest. And it's like, okay, cool.
You say immaturity. I always feel like the phrase immaturity, unfortunately, is always attached to people that are young. But you can be. I feel like immaturity can also be a mindset of people that are well aged.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, because that wrong and strong.
Yeah,
the same thing, isn't it? And I find that unfortunately, some people as they get older, they get stronger in their wrongness. Do you know what I'm saying? In their opinions, they can't listen. It's like they're so set in their ways. It's almost like you have to be like, okay, just take it.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And again, this is down to a lack of self-awareness.
Yeah,
to give me.
You know what's funny? Like for me, yeah, as a person, like I don't want to say I'm an overthinker, but I had to break down every thought process I had to a T.
These are the layers I was talking about.
Yeah, you have to break.
You're calling a thought process. I call them layers. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to break it down to a T. Like, okay, cool. Why do I think this? Okay, is there a solution to this?
Give me an example of something. Don't be embarrassed to say it. Say what it is.
Once upon a time, yeah, I used to get easily attached. Yeah. And I had to ask myself, why do I get easily attached? And the answer was naivety, boredom. Boredom is oh my God. You see boredom, yeah? Boredom will have you doing mad stuff. But yeah, it was naivety, boredom, and just not having a purpose.
In your life?
In my life.
in your life?
Yeah.
First talk to you about the naivety. Why do you think it's naive to get attached easily? And how, because obviously the self-awareness has taken you down that road of questioning, right?
Yeah.
So why was naivety one of your conclusions?
Because at the time I was going through it, your emotions are just going high in it. And when your emotions are there and you can't control them, your ability to rationalize is not there. So I would say I was a bit naive. Purpose being that how, like, I was FaceTiming this person every day. And it's just like, I was thinking to myself, what? Do I not have nothing to do that I'm just on the phone to this person every day? Like, I'll call you back in 5 minutes, I'm going to the gym, or I'll call you back in 5 minutes, I'm with my friends, or I'm call you back in 5 minutes, I'm doing something. No, it was none of that. We were literally on the phone for like 3-4 hours.
How old were you?
Fam, this was recently. This might have been...
It's honest.
This might have been 20... It was 27 still. I was 27 still.
How old are you now?
I'm 28.
Okay, it's recent, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm thinking to myself, yo, like... I was even going through this period like, yo, like, this person is a piece of shit. I hate this person. Then I'm like, wait.
The person that I am being, or the person that you're...
The person.
Okay.
Yeah, because obviously...
the other half.
Yeah, because then I had to say to myself, I'm like, wait, you know what? Why did I get attached so easily? That's not the other person's fault.
Yeah. You've expressed the naivety and you've expressed the nothing to do. What was the other one you said?
Purpose.
But it was the same, I suppose, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Then I said to myself, I'm like...
What's the solution then?
You kind of have to have a purpose, and you have to control the rate at which you get attached. And the way in which you do that is by having something to do.
Your solution.
For me anyway.
Yeah.
Like, there's a power in saying that how, listen, I'll call you back. I'm doing something.
Careful. Because to me, this sounds dangerous.
I'm not even saying it in a bad way. I'm only talking from my view. Like, I know how I am. Like, when you invest time, money, all these things, energy, you get attached. It's normal. So if you know that about yourself, you have to regulate that.
But why do you feel like you being able to say to someone, I'm busy, is power?
I'm not even saying like that.
Or slows that process. Or
not even
understand delays that process.
But when I'm saying I'm busy, I actually am.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that because you actually are. But why have you decided that if I'm busy, okay, it's kind of like dawning on me. So what?
If someone's if someone is always on your mind, yeah, there's a tendency that you could build an unhealthy attachment. Whereas if your mind,
for me, that depends on your relationship with them. If you're both singing off the same hymn sheet, you're not you, but
we weren't singing off the same hymn sheet, so that was the problem. So that was the problem, and that's again, I'm not even putting any blame. I'm saying it was me. The issue was me. I was building an unhealthy attachment.
Let me just throw something in there. That awareness of being responsible for the way you feel, for me, is also essential to growth as well.
Yeah.
Now we're touching on, let's say, love. And because ultimately that's what you're going to end up being in, isn't it? Is love.
Yeah.
And that's like, so the beginning of your attachment, you would hope, would lead you down the road of love to whoever that person is that you're becoming attached to. Do you get it?
Yeah.
I feel like that awareness is the phrase a double-edged sword. And let me tell you why. The person that you're getting attached to, like you said, you weren't on the same page. But maybe the people before that, if you're having to question yourself and say, why am I getting attached? They were all the wrong person. They were all the wrong people. And sometimes the answer to those questions as to why they're the wrong people is why you're making the choices to get attached to those people in the first place.
Yeah.
To get it. And then the other side of that sword is you kind of criticizing yourself, which is good in a sense because you're trying to make progress, you're trying to understand yourself. But don't criticize yourself to a point where it's now like, well, I have to kind of like lower my rate of attachment depending on who's in front of me. Whereas you might find someone's got the same rate as you.
Yeah.
That's who you would need to be patient for.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because the same kind of level of commitment that you're prepared to go to, as long as you and that individual are, like I said a moment ago, singing off the same hymn sheet, your awareness will let you know about yourself, but they also need to be in that kind of headspace. Because if you can sit down and say to yourself, look, I don't want anything serious, like, I'm not ready for that. If that conversation can be had openly and freely at the beginning of whatever it is, then that will save you a whole heap of drama in the future. But if the person in front of you is like, you know what, ultimately, I'm not going to spend no time with you, Joey, or I am going to spend time with Joey because my end goal is to move in together, our families meet, have a home together, start a family, grow old and die. That's my long-term goal. So I'm really patient with who I'm going to pick that journey with. That's sometimes who you got to wait for. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Because if you've got it in your heart, I don't feel like you or anybody else should have to adjust the rate of which they attach themselves to someone because of that individual.
Yeah.
You just got to be more patient with the individual that you choose to allow yourself to be attached to. Do you get it?
Yeah. And I agree with what you're saying. And I think me and you I'm saying the same thing as you, but I may have worded it differently. Because when I was doing it, naivety, I didn't even realize how unhealthy it was. So when I say
because you're in the moment.
Yeah. So when I say I'm going to regulate it, I'm going to assess and see what energy, what level of attachment is needed for what situation. Not that I'm not gonna attach to someone if that's naturally what's required. But yeah, I had to be honest. I was literally saying to myself, I'm like, yo, if I see her, I'm gonna look at her and I'm gonna just give her the cold shot. I'm gonna air her. Then I thought, wait. Did she actually even do anything wrong? If we're being completely honest.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. Accountability. I talk about accountability all the time.
100%. I have a lot of people are hypocrites when it comes to this.
Yeah.
A lot of people like that.
I had to say to myself, I'm like, wait, no. She actually didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, so why am I giving her a problem when she ain't done nothing wrong?
Yeah. I was the one that built an unhealthy attachment. And again, I had to be like, okay, cool. I'm in control of what I do at all times. So if I want to talk about being self-awareness, talk about having self-awareness, I have to be in control of what I'm doing at all times.
Let me tell you what I think's a step greater than that. On this stick that I was talking to you about earlier on, being nice to someone that's been horrible to you.
She weren't even horrible to me, though.
No, but I'm saying,
yeah,
whoever it is, I'm not talking to a point of like physically attacking your bar, whatever else, but still being able to maintain some form of, still being able to maintain some form of respect and what's the word I'm looking for? Be civil with someone that's done you a wrong.
Yeah.
Do you understand? That for me is the next level of your understanding the way you feel. And it's always easy to match someone's good energy. And it's easy to match someone's bad energy. Like I was saying to you earlier on, when someone can shout, you can shout back.
Yeah.
It's easy to do these things. You get it? But if someone's being horrible to you to say something back to them nice, this is another level above.
Yeah.
You get it?
And this comes back to the conversation we had last time about forgiveness. For you to be able to be nice to someone that was horrible to you requires for you to forgive. And what does God say? Forgive our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. So with the understanding, you're able to, it's the first step into becoming a better person, because when you have the understanding, the process to actually doing that is very difficult. Because again, we're human. We'll think about what they've done and be like, I can't forgive that person. Whereas to be nice to someone that's horrible to you requires a level of forgiveness and understanding.
Let me tell you a story about the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So he had a neighbour, an old lady. Every time he would go and leave his house and walk up the road, she collected her rubbish and chuck it in front of him. You know, like when you get your rubbish, you put in the bin outside. She'd wait for him, yeah? When she see him, she'd get her rubbish, she'd dash it in front of him. You have to walk over it, walk around it, like this sort of stuff. And she would wait for him and collect her rubbish, yeah? Every day, do this. Imagine. One day, he comes out his house, she's nowhere to be seen, bro. He's like, what's going on here? What's happening here? Like, she's not throwing her rubbish out, blah, blah, blah. So he starts inquiring, where's the lady that used to live here, my neighbour? Where is she? Blah, blah, blah. Turns out something's wrong with her. She's in the hospital. He goes to visit her. They have some talk. Now, whether she became Muslim or not after that, I don't know. But when I think about that story, I think to myself, you know, these stories that happen, you really have to try and imagine you being a fly on the wall or you yourself being in that situation to really understand what the person's going through who's throwing the rubbish and the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Do you get it? So if I try, and obviously I'm not him, but I'm saying being the observer and me being the person, I'm not the Prophet, but if I had to put myself in his shoes, do you get it?
Yeah.
And I've pondered on this a lot because I used to struggle, not so much now, but I used to struggle a lot with forgiveness. A lot. I used to feel like if he's done me wrong, I can cut people off. They've done me wrong, no problem. I don't struggle with that. But I struggle with, after the cut-off, I struggle with forgiving them a lot. I used to struggle a lot with that. Because in my mind, I'm like, you've been so disrespectful, you've said or you've done to such a level, you're not valuing our friendship. Yeah. Whatever it was, you were prepared to just rubbish it and chuck it away. So I don't have to contact you. I don't have to speak to you, bruv. And even if you reach out to me, fuck you, bruv. I'm not interested because of what you've done. Sorry or not, I don't care. This is the wrong mindset. It's a very damaging mindset. But you know why? Because you're not perfect in it. So what I consider to be minor, like not answering the phone to someone or not returning a text message or not returning a PlayStation controller or not giving back, blah, blah, blah. The individual might see that as a major.
Yeah.
Understand? And this awareness is what you have to accept. It has to be a part of your mindset that not everybody's you. So when you speak, don't advise people like they're you. And don't get upset. Not you don't get upset. I've said that wrong. Don't miniature or make small someone else's when they're upset. Someone else's sadness or anger. Don't make that small.
Yeah.
You get it? I've learned that recently as well. I've had a couple wake-up calls. But if someone else is mad at something, accept it and be humble, innit?
Yeah.
Don't say to them, why are you mad? Obviously, they're mad because you've done something wrong, innit? So you get it?
Yeah.
So they shouldn't have to explain it. You understand how they're feeling and try and work it out. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Let me go back to this story, yeah? So if I put myself in the woman's shoes, I can't really do that because I wouldn't do that to anybody anyway. So I struggle with me trying to be her. But if I put myself into the Prophet Muhammad's shoes, I'm like, boom. I woke up. It's a good day. You know, some of the mornings wake up, we're like, yeah, gotta get it today. Yeah. I feel nice right now. You know, you have them days, isn't it? You always have them days you feel like you've got good energy, you know, you have a fresh shower, good breakfast, you're up early, all your clothes are ready, you're not rushing. The day's going the day's going really smooth, yeah? Smooth. You step out your door, your neighbour throws a rubbish in front of you, you're like, minus, it don't mean nothing to me, you just carry on because you've got that good energy that morning, you feel like you can take on the world. You get it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at another day. You're neutral. It's just a normal morning. You just woke up, carried on normal. Nothing's bothering you. You're neither jubilate. You're neither in a good place or a bad place. You're just neutral, just carrying on. There's no problems. A woman throws rubbish in front of you. It might bother you because you're not in that day before like you.
Yeah.
You get it? It might not bother you. You carry on. What about the day you wake up, you're angry? That morning, you're late. Someone else is in the shower. The water's not working. You can't find your phone. You can't find your... that morning where it's all just going wrong. That morning. We've all had that morning.
Them mornings to me are frequent still.
Yeah.
I'm notorious for losing my wallet. Ask man about me.
This is it, yeah? So now you're having one of those mornings, bruv. And you walk out the house. You ain't even left the home and you're in a bad mindset. Now she throws the rubbish in front of you. How are you going to react to this, brother? You see? I know how I'd react. I'd be pissed. The day I come out my house and I know that's coming, because she does it every day. She throws rubbish in front of me every day. So now I'm like, I've got to numb to it, but you can't always numb to someone's bad actions. You can't because you're a human being and you have fallacies. People will get through your shell or your shield at some point. They know how to get in. Imagine that. I'm going to be relieved, this is me, that she's not throwing rubbish in front of me. I'd be happy. Like, where's she gone? She's gone. She's sick, yeah? I'm chuffed. Imagine that. She's been throwing her rubbish in front of him without consideration for what's going on in his house. Whether he's having a good morning, a bad morning, or she doesn't care. All that's in her mind is, let me throw my rubbish in front of him. Isn't it? Because she's trying to disturb his day, regardless of how his day is going. Do you understand? He's a prophet, but he's still a human being. Do you understand? Yeah. So imagine now, she's gone, you're going to go find her. Where is she? Let me go visit her. SubhanAllah. How, in my mind, I'm saying if he can do that, go and find this person, not only ask, then go out of your way to make time, go find, visit, and have a chat with her. Imagine the softness of this person, the heart of this person, you get it? Yeah. So who am I then? When someone's shouted at me on the phone, SubhanAllah, someone's done something to me on the phone, how can I not find forgiveness for this person and still be nice to that person? You get it?
Yeah.
In comparison to, that's minor. You ain't finding rubbish at me every day. You don't disregard my life, what's going on in my house. You just don't care. You just want to offend me. You get it? Yeah. So now if I have an argument with someone on the phone or blah, blah, whatever, I don't hold anything inside now. You get it? Whereas before, and if there was the next time I spoke to them, in the back of my mind, I'd be like, oh, well, you said that in the back of my mind, but you spoke to me like this on that day and you've done that to me that time. And they have like less trust or less freedom to speak to this individual because you haven't gotten over what they said or what they done. You understand? Forgiveness, yeah, just to close on this point, self-awareness, forgiveness, yeah, frees you. And people don't get that. Yeah, you feel me, innit? People don't get that, bruv. They don't understand that you forgiving somebody else releases you. It makes you feel better. A lot of people are like this person, that person, but you find these people very bitter. But they can't forgive. They're very kind of like they're holding something inside. And these people, I find they're very easily triggered. Because I feel like I was there when I was younger, yeah? And the forgiveness, I think I spoke to you about my dad before.
Yeah.
The forgiveness was directed, and I think Mac Impact spoke about this as well recently. Shout out to Mac. Is that forgiving, you have to understand your parents are still human beings, and human beings make mistakes in it.
Yeah.
Get it? Yeah. So what I learned was that forgiving him for absence helped me improve my relationship with other men. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Because that was the biggest letdown for me. Understand? And had been for me for years. So finding a space within me to forgive him helps me understand forgiveness, and along with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what he'd done as well. And the reason why I use those two is because one is my dad. There's not a lot of people close to you then, or supposed to be close to you. Then your blood in it. So you get it? And the other example with the Prophet Muhammad is with a stranger. So if it's not your family or a stranger, who's it going to be? The only person left is friends, isn't it? That are going to do you wrong. And I feel like if you can forgive your parents or your parents, I don't know, some people come from single homes and that, yeah? If you can forgive the parent, which is close to you, and you can forgive the stranger, and your friends are somewhere in the middle. Because we've got friends that like blood in it.
Yeah.
And we've got friends that are like, not like strangers, but you know what, you get me?
Yeah.
Your friends sit in that kind of like middle gap. You feel me?
Yeah.
And I feel like the self-awareness, you have to, again, reiterating the point, really try and strike it home for the listeners, is that your self-awareness is to help you grow. Understand?
Yeah.
And that's what people have to understand. It's for the benefit of your character. It's for the benefit of your interaction with other people. Do you get it? It's very essential that forgiveness. In fact, you know what? I spoke about this the other week. I know I'm gassing on a bit. Am I talking too much, Joe?
Nah, bro.
Too much.
Bro, talk, bro. Talk the things, bro. I'm here to listen, bro. I'm cool, bro. Right, talk the things.
So I'm at work, yeah? I'm at work. And it literally just popped into my head. So I'm just like screwing some trunking on the wall, cutting holes, this sort of stuff, yeah? You find, I can't speak for all tradesmen, but being a tradesman, you kind of get into like autopilot. So you'll just start doing your work and it's almost like your hands do what they got to do, but your brain's just gone. So your brain's gone somewhere else. So you know what you got to do, so you're doing it, but your mind is just completely like, it's almost like I'm in another, you know what I'm saying?
Because you've been doing something so much.
It's just like, you start with autopilot.
It's not even conscious, you're literally doing it.
Yeah. So in that moment, something popped into my head, yeah? And it was about someone opening a door for you. Yeah. I can't think of how I got to that example. I can't remember that part, but the reason why I remember this part of what I'm trying to express is because I said it not too long ago. You go through a door. I'm sure we've all experienced it. You hold the door open for someone and they don't hold the door open for you. How do you feel? Does that bother you or not, Jerry? Yeah, just yes or no. Straight yes or no.
It does still. Where your manners at, B?
Yeah, right. This is it, yeah? That is minor. It's not even a drop. It's not even a bit of dust.
Yeah.
It's nothing. So what's wrong with us and our hearts, human beings? What's wrong with us is someone open a door for you see as a big deal. A door. Like you can't open it yourself. Huh? Habitually, we think it's normal. Socially, we think it's normal. As in, to be upset at someone for not opening a door for you. You think, guys, it's just courtesy. It's good manners, blah, blah, blah. We know it's good manners, but why does it bother you if someone doesn't hold the door? It's minor. And I know, and I don't want to be a hypocrite. I did say to you earlier on, I'm not you, innit? You can't judge people on you because not everyone's you. But what I'm trying to say is that a big deal?
Nah, in the grand scheme of things, it's not.
So what if you open the door for them before?
Regardless, you could be standing there waiting for a week and 20 people go through and not for a day. 20 people go through the door, not one person says thank you. Do you need that?
Yeah. To touch on that, yeah.
We have a massive problem because, just to close, Joey, yeah? Our problem is small things we're making major. And it should be the reverse. We should be able to take a big situation. Your friends crash your car. The first thing you should say to him is, are you okay? Are you all right? You ain't broke anything, blah, blah, blah. Right, where's the car? But unfortunately, it's, you crashed my car out. You get it? You got things in the reverse. You're making small situations big. I'm not saying crashing a car isn't a big situation. It costs you money. It's a big thing, yeah? But the way we deal with people, you understand? We don't make the minor things major.
Yeah.
You should make the major things small.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, you as a person is what I'm concerned about. These material things, they come and they go in it. So you can't sweat over that too much. And I do feel like when it comes to like self-awareness, yeah, that you have to you have to be understanding. As much as you understand yourself, you have to have understanding towards people that I don't want to say haven't found themselves, but don't understand themselves completely. Because there's like a level of insecurity that people have when they haven't embraced like their faults and stuff like that. So it's a very fulfilling journey, and I do encourage a lot of people to encourage that. And you said something before about you being able to forgive your father helped your relationship with other men. Before we even came in here, I was chatting downstairs with one guy called Dennis. Shout out Dennis. He's recording right now. He's in the recording studio right now. We were just sitting and we were talking, and he was just like, it's just mad. It's so crazy to think that how me and you are just sitting down together, just conversating on a level like. And he goes, back in the day, that wouldn't have been normal.
Why?
Because of the environments that people grew up in, and just the way like people like us have been trained to like view each other. So he was and it was proper refreshing. Like we were having a proper conversation. Yeah. He's into music. He's saying that how he thought he saw me around, but yeah, it was just, we had a proper refreshing conversation, and we just connected, and it's just cool. Like, and being able to forgive helped you improve your relationship with other men. Forgive your dad helped you improve your relationship with other men. I kind of resonated with that as well, because when you were saying that how people don't really respect black men in positions of leadership, that's why. If they haven't seen a black man in a position of leadership in their house, subconsciously they feel like they're not gonna respect a black man if he's in a position of power. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's part of the. I kick you there.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. That's another part of this awareness. I need to touch on something before I talk about that, Joey. Was about the inner jihad is what we have in Islam. So there's outer jihad, and jihad means to struggle or to strive. There's this Western status quo view that jihad is. How are you doing for time?
We've got like 15 still.
I'll be quick. There's this status quo Western kind of media view that when you hear jihad, you think, holy war. And people strapping bombs to themselves and everything other negative that comes to that phrase, that incorrect definition. So, yes, the outer jihad is the easy jihad, and that's to go into battle for the right reasons. But the inner jihad, they say, is a greater jihad, and that struggle and strive is against your nafs. Your nafs are your desires, and those desires could be vices, your bad attitude, etc., etc. You get it? I just need to touch on that. It's very important. It's something that human beings in general, not only Muslims, I feel like need to really try to do that. What you just saying just quickly then about black men and the status quo on how they are perceived.
Yeah, because of their absence in the household, when they either attain or try to attain positions of leadership, they're not going to be considered or looked upon because they haven't got a leadership role in their household. So when me and Dennis this guy were talking, saying how it's crazy that how we're just having this conversation, just sitting down, we're just talking on a level, because we've been kind of trained to look at black men
a certain way,
with a certain level of disdain, and that's not even consciously, that's just subconsciously. So I feel like it's important that how I always encourage people, as difficult as it is, if you can, try and have a good relationship with your father, because that will have a lot of more implications down the line that you won't even understand. A lot of, even from women, based on my observation, a lot of women struggle to build healthy relationships with men because they have issues with their father.
And with the mothers, it goes both ways.
And with the mothers as well. Yeah. But just in relation to the fathers.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah. If, for example, if you haven't grown up with masculine energy in your house, when you're living with a man, there's going to be
toxicity, as they say. So, 100%. We've got to touch on that, Joey. We have to touch on that, Joey, for sure.
The trickle-down effect of not having a good relationship with your father is crazy. So I just feel like men and women have a good relationship with Try to. Yeah. I know we're not perfect, but it's needed still. Yeah. It's needed.
Basically, try and for those who are watching, try and patch things up. If you can patch things up with your parents, try to patch things up. Try to make things better. And if your parents are the type that are like, I'm not interested, blah, 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 that doesn't mean that you still can't try. Every so often, try again. Even if you say, you know what, I'm going to try twice a year, because I know it's difficult. And you might think yourself, twice a year. Some people have really bad relationships with their families. They do. And I feel like as long as you're making the effort, then if that person passes on before you do, we don't know when death's going to come and touch us. But if if that older family member, your parent, passes on before you, at least you can say, I tried. I tried, but they weren't accepting of me trying. Rather than you being in a position of they died and I never tried. Because once they're gone, you won't have a second chance. It's very important that we try to rise above and be the better character. And as I said, it's not because, as I've said before in the past, it's not because someone's older than you that they have more wisdom than you. They've experienced more in life than you, but you could have experienced things that are different. So don't always think that because they're older, they should be making the effort. You get it? Because we also know with age, unfortunately, becomes people set in their ways wrong and strong, etc. So like I said, in short, make that effort, swallow your pride, have forgiveness, and don't think that another person acknowledging your forgiveness means your forgiveness is valid or not. Don't base the receiving of someone saying, I accept your apology or I accept that you've forgiven me. Don't base your peace or your forgiveness upon a response. To get it, because that will leave you stuck in limbo. If you never get the response you need, you feel like you can't forgive that person. You can forgive people in silence, alone in a room. You can forgive people. Understand?
There's more than one way to forgive someone, and just tying everything in with the forgiveness thing. With the forgiveness, like, there's empathy as well, because when we're talking about self-awareness, having self-awareness is also understanding that your parents have gone through or are currently going through
the journey of life.
There's certain things which they may be going through, certain things that they're healing from. And all these things play a factor into when they make certain decisions. So again, as someone that's encouraging self-awareness, you have to be aware of that and just be mindful, understanding, and be kind. You get what I'm saying? I think we can wrap up now still.
Yeah, it's good talk, Joe.
Yeah,
thanks for having me, bro.
No worries, bro. You're welcome anytime, B.
Thank you, brother.
My first return guest and that.
Alhamdulillah.
Calm.